This episode is brought to you by the Denver Art Museum. Kick off 2026 with an unforgettable night at the Denver Art Museum's first Untitled Artist Takeover event of the year, happening on Friday, January 30th from 6 to 10 p.m. Experience a vibrant night of art, performances, hands-on art making, a pop-up bar, and unique experiences led by local artists Tia Elisa Anthony and Ana Luna, and a whole host of contributing creatives. Untitled Artist Takeover is included in general admission and free for Denver Art Museum members. Reserve your tickets today at denverartmuseum.org. That's denverartmuseum.org. Today on CityCast Denver, Douglas County, one of our more conservative suburbs to the south and a perennial source of stories about book bans, fights over drag queen story hour, and now Shrek, the musical. Westward reports that attendees of a recent production have been filing complaints over the show's use of a pride flag, and we have thoughts. One of our favorite regular guests joins me and producer Olivia Jewell-Love to parse the controversy and what it says about the LGBTQ conversation in Colorado right now. Today is Thursday, January 29th. I'm Bree Davies, and here's what Denver's talking about. Kate McLaughlin, welcome back to CityCast Denver.
Hello, friends. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
And also joining us today is our resident Shrekspert, producer Olivia Jewell-Love. Hi.
Wow. That's a good title.
I know.
I like that.
I thought it was perfect for you.
Thank you.
We're talking about Shrek. You're a person that knows I just put it out there. I've only seen the first Shrek one time. So
Really?
yeah, I'm going to need both of your help on this.
What, did you see it in theaters or has it been like a recent? Okay.
And like the last 5 years probably, because I feel like it came out when I was in my 20s maybe. So I wasn't really,
That's how Up was with me. I kind of... I was like a sophomore in college.
The same way I resonate with Shrek, but...
Olivia also teaches me about SpongeBob, which is really helpful. So,
dude, SpongeBob is something that also passed me by just by a little bit.
Well, the thing is, I didn't have cable as a child. I was on PBS, but then as soon as my parents got cable when I was in like middle school, I was like, I have some work to do, and it's like learning about SpongeBob and all the pop culture things I don't understand. So I was too old for it, but I watched it because I needed to know what the hell was going on in this world.
And you might be better off because I feel like SpongeBob has really permeated the culture.
Yes. SpongeBob is the Looney Tunes of now in terms of merch.
Yeah. Similar to Shrek, I think that it's permeated.
Perfect. Thank you for bringing us back around, Kate. So we're talking about Shrek because a local theater company, Sasquatch Productions, is putting on a production of Shrek the Musical at the Pace Center in Parker. But there's been some controversy over their decision to include pride flags during their song Freak Flag. Before we dig into the controversy, Olivia, you're going to give us some context. Can you give us the TLDR on Douglas County, where this is taking place? The town of Parker exists in Douglas County, and Douglas County sort of is its own animal.
Yeah, Douglas County has had some stuff like this in the past recent years that came to mind for me when I read this story. Like, I was thinking about in 2024, their Pride Fest, which was also held in Parker. There were some protesters that showed up to it. They ultimately weren't let in, but they stood outside of the fest wearing a shirt that says, "You are loved." There's like a group of them. And they were talking about like their thing with the pride was they were like, "You're confusing children." So like
that's their angle.
That's their angle from these protesters. And then also, I think probably 2023, Douglas County went through a whole thing where they were trying to ban some books from schools. And a lot of them had LGBTQ themes. So it seems like the arguments I've been reading from the people trying to make these changes is it's like in pursuit of protecting children, I guess, is the argument. But all that to say is that like this is something that's been happening in Douglas County for the last few years, just like a lot of struggle over LGBTQ.
Yeah.
Snowflakes.
I just think that's helpful context because it is like a different world in some senses from like here in Denver.
Yeah. And this isn't like an out of the blue reaction.
Yeah, this was not something
Right.
surprising.
This is not an isolated incident. They've been doing this.
Kate, I have to ask, were you a theater kid growing up?
I was theater adjacent.
Explain.
I like, the stories you tell yourself in high school, like I really felt like sports was where I wanted to be.
I love that you call that theater adjacent, and I think I'm seeing the thread, but
Yeah, what sport?
But all my friends were in theaters. I saw every play. I'm a huge musical fan. I was a swimmer.
aha, okay.
And then a lot of people have assumed I'm a theater kid, which I don't correct because
Yeah, you've got that energy. Also, the lung capacity from being a swimmer.
it combines
you could
the
really
two.
belt. You could really belt up there.
Yeah, broad shoulders for dancing.
Yeah. They're
Yeah.
going to see those jazz hands. They're going to see them.
Yeah, if I could do it again, I'd be a theater kid for sure. What about you?
Yeah, I was not. I was the person that started the first feminist club at my high school, if you want to know how 90s I was. But
How many feminists does it take to change a light bulb?
how many?
One, that's not funny.
Needless to say, it wasn't a super popular club, but
Okay.
our drama club was run by a couple, Zach and Zach.
Oh my
And keep in
God.
mind, this is like 1995. So
Will you remind me what high school you went to?
I went to George Washington High School.
Awesome. Okay.
Olivia, what about you? Were you theater adjacent?
No.
Okay.
I guess I'm outing myself as like I was captain of the dance team kind of vibe. But I mean,
Someone was popular.
also I was a large contributing member to the Latin club, so I can
Cool.
do multitudes.
It
Don't
too?
put me in a box. Yeah, it too. But yeah, don't put me in a box. Yeah, I mean, I had a lot of friends in theater, but I had no time. Latin club discus competitions, they take up a lot of time, okay? I'm serious.
You really had those?
Everyone believes you. The energy level I had.
We hosted an ultimate discus competition with the other Latin clubs around. And yeah,
Okay, so I'm now misunderstanding what discus is in the Latin club.
it's literally frisbee. It's frisbee, but that's what Romans called it, is discus. So we called it discus. Yes,
The Roman ultimate frisbee.
okay.
literally. So it was you can imagine like a lot of really athletic people.
That sounds awesome, dude. I wasn't good at sports. I had no business like pursuing that, but I just I was like, well, I've made it this far. This is where all my time has been.
Yeah.
Just might as well dig in.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess before we get into this controversy specifically, I wonder if we could like just imagine for 1 second what this version of the Shrek musical, what would you all see that conservatives are fearing? Like, let's think of the ultimate. I don't associate Shrek with controversy.
Well, also, I think it's important to note, like, before we get into this, that like we were talking about high school. This is a professional theater company,
Mhm.
so these are not high school students. These are people who do this for a living.
They're adults. Like,
Yeah, no, this is next level for sure.
and I think a very important context is where so I've only seen the Shrek musical once. When I was living in Park Hill, my neighborhood did this adorable thing in the summer where 2 of the older kids would direct a musical.
Oh my god!
Amazing.
And someone had this amazing yard that like could fit a stage, like a small stage, and then all the neighborhood kids were in it. But I mean, like, not too shabby. Like, we got the plot, you know what I mean? And Freak Flag is, I think, the closer.
Okay.
So at this point, the donkey and a dragon have already expressed their feelings for each other.
They're in love.
This is helpful because I've not seen it.
Okay.
So
I think I haven't seen the musical, but I mean, the plot of Shrek is.
It's very adherent to that.
what do you guys mean when you say that? Because I wasn't connecting this at all originally because I've only seen Shrek one time. So what are you thinking about with Shrek in this context?
I mean, the whole like plot of Shrek is about like outsiders in a community,
Yeah.
being othered, and then finding community within all those people who have been othered and like coming together.
I really enjoyed the quote from the director where she was like, well, that's kind of what the song was about, so I put the flag in there.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of parallels. I'm thinking that like this is just some basic symbolism, and like, identifying themes here. Like, yeah, we've seen this happen with the LGBTQ community of being othered and, finding community within themselves.
It's maybe not necessarily these folks that are complaining reading too much into it. It's just sort of a subtle part of the story already, which is clearly open to interpretation, I think. When we talk about a freak flag flying, that can mean all different kinds of people that maybe feel outside of the quote norm or whatever. But it's hard to not feel biased about this because I'm like, what's wrong with the flag? What's wrong with the pride flag?
It's a very interesting audience member that supports community theater, wanted to see Shrek the musical, and then, because I'm just thinking of the people in my life that supported community theater. Like, I consider you to have, like, you enjoy artistic things, and you're there to, like, have, I don't know, a nice experience, and I'm wondering how that was a bridge too far for someone who's already seeing Shrek the musical at a community theater.
Sure. There's like this big, I don't know, there's a kind of a movement against the pride flag itself. We've been seeing this like where certain conservatives don't like seeing them in schools. They think it's indoctrinating kids. And so I think that there's kind of a specific movement against this flag. And also like that's not written into the original script. So I think people were kind of feeling like it was thrust upon them, maybe.
Shrek purists were upset.
The people who want, like, pure Shrek, they were like, okay, that's not historically accurate.
That's not canon. Okay.
Yeah, what if that is actually the argument, that someone was like, actually, the flag was of his swamp?
Yeah. It's not. That is definitely not what was going on. So Westward reported that according to multiple members of this production, there was a request communicated where representatives from the town of Parker, through their arts arm, Parker Arts, that runs this space, told the company the pride flags were used during Freak Flag were considered offensive by some audience members, which again, you pointed this out, Kate, appear very late in the show. And it's a celebratory number, again, like we've been talking about, of embracing differences and rejecting shame. So I want to read part of this statement from the town of Parker because I think the controversy goes beyond just the initial complaints and more about how the theater company itself felt about the response from the town. So, The Parker Arts Organization put out a statement that said, quote, as a town-owned performing arts venue funded in part by taxpayer dollars, the town has a responsibility to remain neutral. The town did let the producers know about the concerns brought to the attention of the town, but did not demand or require that any part of the show be removed or modified. However, as a community partner, the producers considered the information and suggested a possible alternative that would still support their creative vision, but alleviate the discussion that was taking away from the production itself. So what people in this, folks in this production company expressed was the town didn't tell us that we had to take it out, but they felt pressure to take it out. And so I think that's part of this other part of the controversy. In which, Kate, you produce shows, you put on things like, you put on events, you work with venues. Have you ever been in a position like this where you're maybe being pressured or told in no certain, not directly, to change something about what you're doing on stage?
I gotta say, we've been very lucky. I've never experienced that in a professional setting. Like, I think that quite the opposite, where certain venues we've worked with have been concerned for the safety based on where the content was going. We had security at 2 Dictopia shows, I believe. There was, after the tragedy in the Springs, we were nervous. And
the Club Q?
Mm-hmm, after Club Q.
Okay.
And we had the full cooperation of our venues. And I gotta say, I'm really lucky I haven't experienced this at all.
Interesting. Yeah, I've only experienced the security aspect too from that other, sort of the other side of it, which is where I was part of an abortion doc screening, and the theater and the people wanted to put security in to protect everybody that was coming to it. So it is definitely sort of the opposite way.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, Olivia, what were you going to say?
I was just going to say I experienced my first censorship of the arts when I was in 6th grade. So it's like pretty obvious probably by this point that I was a weird child. Like nobody's gonna question that. But I was really into
a lot of people
writing.
are listening to this and not seeing you, so I think.
Damn. Okay.
We have the same
anyway,
haircut.
Thanks for the read, Kate. So I was a child that was really into writing Shakespearean sonnets.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just something. That's my interest. And I wrote one for my 6th grade teacher, just kind of about how he was, a good influence and I don't know, nice thing. And then I don't know, it was a good poem, okay? But anyway,
Sonnets are hard.
had that, and then my principal caught wind that I wrote that and was like, I want you to read it at the talent show. And I was like, bet, like I'll do that. And then she was like, but you need to change the last line so it doesn't say your teacher's name in it, because we don't want any of the other teachers to feel bad because you wrote the poem for a specific person.
Teachers have the thickest skin. Like,
I was also in 6th grade.
yeah, if anything, that would be a passing like joke.
No one would be upset by that. I mean, it was super weird, but I complied. I complied. I licked the boots.
You're in 6th grade, I don't know if you're a bootlicker.
I was also really scared
grade.
of this woman. She was scary.
She sounds intimidating. Yeah. So she was the one that felt bad and was like, all the teachers are going to feel bad.
Guess.
Olivia, you're conjuring a memory of for the 5th grade talent show. I wrote a musical about Elian Gonzalez. Olivia, I'm not trying to. Do you know who Elian Gonzalez is?
No.
Do you want to do it too long? Didn't read on that, Kate?
Yeah, Elian Gonzalez was this poor boy that got caught in like a culture war. Had some family in Cuba, some family in the States, and it was a real battle of like who got him.
Where he could live. If you Google it, the pictures of him being ripped away from his family are absolutely terrifying. Very prescient for this moment.
Yeah.
And so 5th grade musical.
It was just pure culture war. And I had a family that only watched like the news, but I love musicals. And then there were the politics of 5th grade. I had to cast like every girl. So my friend played Fidel Castro. There were like 5 journalists. God. It was a whole, and I went to Catholic school, and in the audition, they were like, we're not doing this.
I love that it got that far, though.
Oh, just the getting calls from girls that were upset they weren't cast in the musical was what I remember more than the
You're like, not everyone can play Fidel Castro, so
yeah, but my
sorry.
friend who tanned easiest did.
Oh my God.
You're in Catholic school in Colorado. I have also been in Catholic school in Colorado. That's very accurate.
Yeah, so that was my one experience with censorship.
Yeah, you were silenced.
Did you know CityCast Denver has a perks program? Every week, we're highlighting some standout deals from our favorite businesses in town to help you support local and save some money. It's a win-win. Here are some highlights from this week. Check out Meow Wolf's Adultiverse Space Rodeo on January 17th and experience the worlds of Meow Wolf Denver, transformed into a 21 and up psychedelic party. Saddle up for an intergalactic adventure. Just use code GIDDYUP for $4.20 off an Adultiverse ticket. Offer available for redemption now through January 17th. Or what about Topo Designs? Just visit a Topo Designs retail store and mention this ad to receive 20% off your purchase. Some exclusions apply. Valid until February 1st. Looking for some fun? Check out Green Door and pre-order a curated cannabis box for your Denver trip. Includes edibles, snacks, and local accessories. Ready for pickup near your stay. No stress, no lines, just a better trip. Use code DenverPerk for $10 off any experience box. To see a full list of participating businesses, just visit denver.citycast.fm/perks. It's a great way to check out new restaurants, shops, and events in the Mile High City without breaking your budget. And I love that for you. This episode is brought to you by South by Southwest. Ready for discovery? South by Southwest 2026 takes over Austin, Texas this March 12th through the 18th. Expect the unexpected, where innovation, film and TV, music, and culture collide. Hear from global thought leaders, experience unforgettable screenings, and catch your future favorite artist all in 1 week. The 2026 South by Southwest conferences and festivals are a citywide experience built on curiosity and connection that you won't want to miss. Start planning your adventure and secure your badge now at sxsw.com/Denver. That's sxsw.com/Denver. Well, going back to sort of the flag part of it all,
Sorry,
I think,
Brie.
no, I think that adds a little color, to our experiences of censorship. Is the pride flag?
You hear what you want to hear. Do you want me to hear? Oh, you pick up. Is the pride flag
Political? Is it political? Do politics have a place in Shrek?
I think that you really see, like, you'll find what you're looking for in terms of victimhood, politics, all sorts of stuff. And I think that, like, people against it made it political. Because what some people, including myself, see as, like, a welcoming flag of, like, be who you are, that image means indoctrination and, like, your way of life being threatened to other people.
Yeah, I try to put myself in those shoes to understand feeling differently about seeing that flag. And it's difficult because I too see it that way. I know that some folks do see it as something that's threatening, but I don't know. In this case, it just feels so sort of it's part of the scenery almost. But I don't know.
Look at that image that Westward posted. There's so much stuff going on that stage. It's a really colorful, like, there's a gingerbread man dancing. Like, I don't know. I think that some people in this political climate that have conservative leanings are seeking to be offended.
Yeah, I could see that too. And but it's hard to know too, like, how many folks complained. Is this a coordinated effort, which we see on all sides of the political spectrum when it comes to an issue that folks want to bring attention to? Olivia, what do you think? Do you think that, I mean, we've talked about the story of Shrek being about, marginalized anyone. In this case, he's an ogre. Do you think that it is inherently has a political message?
I mean, we're kind of at the point where you could interpret anything as a political message. But I mean, this just kind of goes back to, like, things you learned in school of, like, identifying themes and symbolism. And, like, if the shoe fits, it's kind of like, Sure. There you go. But it's also a form of entertainment. So you don't have to do an analysis and read that deeply into it. And I think that's maybe where some of this argument is coming from. Like, they're literally, like, bringing those themes into fruition by, like, bringing the pride flag and, like, look, this is actually happening right now. And some people weren't interested in thinking about it that deeply, which, I guess that's your right. But I don't know. I don't know that the Shrek itself I would consider political, especially, like, when it was created. And also, like, the pride flag. I mean, clearly it's political for some people, but I don't know. I don't think we can inherently say.
What did they want them to wave the American flag, like the Punisher flag?
Well, I'm trying to think about how I would feel. If I saw that and saw them waving the American flag. Like, I might feel some type of way. I might be like, that's kind of weird nationalism. That makes me feel uncomfortable. So then I'm thinking about the people who
kind of think it was a joke.
Yeah, but think about the people that have, like, these preconceived notions about the pride flag. Like, I'm trying to think about it from
Shrek the musical.
I mean, that is the question. Theater itself is inherently really queer and has, like, the origins of it are rooted in queer history.
Yeah.
So it's but I think it's that thing of, like, not wanting to recognize something, also just, like, I'm here to be entertained. I don't want to think that deeply about something. And yeah.
Then maybe would it make, okay, so let's take the pride flag and put it somewhere else where in an entertainment space. I'm trying to think of, somewhere else, like we might see them at a hockey game or a baseball game. Or do you think that the context of, like you're saying, you're seeing it in what many folks would argue is an inherently queer art form in its origins, but maybe put it somewhere else, would it have the same, could you see it having the same
I think that's what
reaction?
Is annoying me. It'd be like if someone went to the ballet and was upset by a pride flag. Like,
Because-
I don't know. I think artistic expression is like inherently queer. And it's just such a weird thing to draw the line there to be offended.
It is hard to, like, for me, it's hard to think of what would be the equivalent on the other side. I mean, you mentioned a Punisher flag, which is associated a lot with
Losers and
a certain type of person that's maybe more conservative. I'm trying to be generous here
we said the
because,
same thing, but go on.
you know, like, is there, I don't know if there's an equivalent to the pride flag on another side of this that folks, but I think maybe, Olivia, you might be right. The closest thing would be an American flag because that is loaded with assumptions based on how you feel about America.
I mean, this is extreme, but if they were flying a Confederate flag, I mean,
Where would like
that would have a visceral reaction for a group of people.
That's something that would absolutely bother me.
And I think that people treat flags as political symbols at this point, and something that began as just a symbol of inclusion. Now, for a sector of society, they have political associations with that, and they're going to have a visceral reaction when they see it.
But is that the responsibility of the theater putting on a musical to cater to that kind of
I think that's
ideology?
I don't think so. I think that if you show up to an art, you're going to see the performer's interpretation of art, and that might not align with your personal values.
And by the way, I think Shrek is so much more offensive to short men than it is to straight people. Farquaad is villainized, you know? I mean,
there are a lot of tropes of toxic masculinity there.
I think people with blunt bangs should be more offended.
Okay, literally, after I was Lord Farquaad for Halloween, I cut my hair exactly like him. He's an icon.
This guy's kind of onto something.
For the sake of people not knowing what you were talking about, if they for some reason haven't seen Shrek, can you all describe who Lord Farquaad is?
Lord Farquaad is the king,
visual.
And he's like 3 feet tall and has ego issues, like toxic masculinity tropes, and he's in love with Fiona when she's a human, and basically wants someone else to do all the hard work, but he wants the glory of getting the girl.
And he is very short, and they mention it a lot.
There are a lot of jokes about him being short.
Yeah.
Because he gets off his horse and he has to have like stairs to get on his horse and stuff.
Yeah, and Shrek does the little puns of like, now I'm totally blanking, but like guys like that are in short supply kind of thing.
And short men have had a little renaissance in the last couple of years as short
little
kings.
renaissance. Sorry.
So maybe it could be interpreted, buddy. I see what you're saying. Is there's other ways to view this as maybe being
like
offensive.
There are other kinds of people that are explicitly teased, and like jokes are made at their expense. And if you really cared about like making people feel isolated, I don't think the pride flag is really the issue.
Is the thing that's doing it. Yeah. Well, okay. I guess my last question then, since we all seem to be on a similar page, is Shrek a gay icon?
I think he's the kind of guy that has a bunch of lesbian friends. So yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
I think that Ogre Shrek is very like traditional masculinity, but I think that human Shrek, when Shrek turns into a human,
daddy.
Yeah.
Would you say he gets hot?
He definitely gets yassified.
He gets yassified. That's all you can say.
So yassified. Well, I mean, gay icons come in many types.
Yeah,
so,
and
there's many layers to Shreks.
Oh, that's a nice Shrek.
Good reference if you meant to.
I did not. Okay. This is great.
Oh, yikes.
Shoot. All right. Yeah, shows a lot more pro-onion, which should be concerning.
Oh, true.
We're anti-onion?
I thought it was, I'm just thinking of stuff people can get mad about.
Onions make everything taste better. Do not slander them here.
All right, sorry. I didn't know the rules.
Well,
it's also worth mentioning at this point in the show, so much crazy stuff had happened. Like a donkey and a dragon literally fell in love and had babies. Like, that should offend a Christian mind as much as anything.
Well, I mean, there's also the stepsister who, they call her the ugly stepsister.
Yeah.
Appears to be a woman, but has a very deep masculine voice.
And like a 5 o'clock shadow.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff to get mad
like
about.
The gingerbread man was like waterboarded or milk boarded.
He had his limbs
You say
bit
there's
off.
a lot more things that potentially could have been offensive before we got
this
to
show is
a pride flag.
The show is crazy. It's a fantasy comedy. Like, it's meant to be absurd. And I think that taking one little moment to be like, hey, you can be yourself and no one's going to get mad about that. And the town of Parker had something to say, I think is a big eye roll for me.
Yeah, I think I would like to see this production. If anything, if this story did anything for me, it's that now I really want to see it.
I agree. Yeah.
Well, Olivia and Kate, thank you so much for enlightening me and dissecting this issue of Shrek and the pride flag. This has been great.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having me in your swamp.
Get out me swamp.
I need to watch Shrek again. That's all for today here on CityCast Denver. If you enjoyed this show, why not take a minute to tell Parker Arts Cultural Director Carrie Glassburn about us? Rate the show wherever you get your podcasts and subscribe to our morning newsletter and learn more about us at denver.citycast.fm. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye.